Hello everyone, welcome and thanks for tuning in today to join us for our Modernizing Metals Production with MES webinar. My name is Brent Gattoni, I'm the Sales Channel Manager here with Brock Solutions. We're hoping to keep this webinar under 20 minutes, however we do have a lot of information to cover, so we may get a little bit over that. We're also going to make the assumption that many of you are already familiar with manufacturing execution systems, so we won't get too far into the weeds on the topic. We do have a lot of other pre-recorded webinars available that pretty much cover all the other aspects of MES that you may want to learn about, and we'll include links to those at the end of this presentation. Okay, so let's get started. So we'll kick off this by explaining, why are we here? So why we asked you to attend this event and what's in it for you? We'll discuss some of the trends that we're seeing in the metals industry and some of the challenges our metals customers are facing. We'll briefly discuss what an MES is and explain where it fits within your enterprise. We'll take a deep dive into the metals MES solution that Brock Solutions and Rockwell Automation have developed. And lastly, we'll finish up with some next steps to help you get started on your MES journey. Okay, so why are we here? So over the last few years, Brock Solutions and Rockwell Automation have successfully developed an MES solution for our metals customers, and it's based on an off-the-shelf Rockwell product. And essentially what we're here to do today is to make you aware of this solution. So we've been trying to address a need in an industry that we're passionate about and where we've had success and where we have experience developing solutions in the past. And we think this is a great time to take this concept to our metals customers. We've recognized that there is a need for an off-the-shelf solution in the metals industry, and we understand that off-the-shelf MES has not been a focus in this industry. So we typically see with our metals customers are homegrown MES systems. So at the end of the day, our goal is to be recognized as the go-to solution for MES in the metals industry. This is not some flavor of the month or some kind of trumped up idea. This is what we do every day. All right. So what are some of the challenges we're seeing in the metals industry? What makes this an unsustainable approach? Well, we see a lot of metals producers relying on technology that's been obsolete for 10, 20, and sometimes even 30 years, and using these technologies for their mission-critical processes. Often our metals customers have very elaborate and impressive homegrown systems that are actually quite advanced. However, they generally are a little bit difficult to maintain, and they typically are missing some or many of the pieces required to address many of the challenges that a modern MES can easily tackle. So let's spend the next few minutes looking at some of these issues that MES can help you address. Some of the more obvious and controllable issues we're seeing in the metals industry right now are things like missed production targets or late deliveries. So these are generally a result of obsolete legacy systems that can prevent metals producers from driving improvements in their operations. So not only are the systems obsolete, but the workers needed to support it are retiring, and customers are losing much of that tribal knowledge as they go out the door. Lack of production intelligence, this can be linked back to disparate sources where equipment and systems and applications are completely disconnected, and information from operations and process is not available, so there's no real-time data and no real inventory or no real-time inventory counts. Limited production flexibility, so this can be attributed to a lack of visibility into the process, where users are unable to track everything that happens to a product from start to finish on its journey through production. Manual recipe management is not unusual, and when you couple that with manual order management, it can be time consuming. It can also be very prone to errors and result in performance variations from one shift to another. Many individual operators manually develop and enter alloy or fabrication recipes. This information is typically stored in physical black books. And finally, accurate traceability or genealogy is not readily available, which does not help when metals customers demand greater traceability and accountability for the metals that they receive. And this also provides no method to track scrap. So briefly, to summarize, the challenges we're seeing, many of today's metals companies are trying to compete using obsolete technologies. Meanwhile, the workers with the most experience operating and maintaining these aging systems are nearing retirement, and there's a fear that these retirees may take this tribal knowledge about the legacy systems with them as they go. And we want you to know that a modern MES can help address these issues and then some. So before we get started discussing this solution, I just want to ask a few questions, and you can let me know if any of these resonate with you. Are you currently operating with a homegrown legacy system? Does your organization understand what MES is and the value it provides? Are you struggling to access real-time performance data? Are your customers requesting greater traceability for the metals they receive? And are you concerned about losing critical tribal knowledge as a result of an older and retiring workforce? So we have one observation and one objective. Our observation is this: if you answered yes to any of the questions above, we just want you to know that you're not alone, and these are very common with many of our metals customers. And our objective is to share with you the capabilities that a modern MES can provide and is providing to our customers in a multitude of industries, but specifically within the metals market. So to begin with, I want to give you a brief overview of what an MES system is. Excuse me. So when we talk about this space, what we have here is a diagram that shows a typical environment when it comes to manufacturing. So there's the level 1 and 2 space, your controls and automation, and your PLCs and your DCSs, and the devices that live on your plant floor. And at the top, or at the opposite end, we have level 4 systems, which are typical functions that live in your ERP or your planning systems. So this space we're going to talk about today, this manufacturing IT space or MES space, really lives here between those layers and can sometimes include components of the other systems. So as you can see, that this layer really glues together the automation and the ERP to provide execution activities like recipe management, to ensure that operations are making the right product at the right time with the right ingredients. It can be track and trace genealogy, so tracing right back to the beginning of your raw materials consumption through to the end and beyond. And it could be things like performance monitoring and reporting. When you're looking at your equipment and your assets and you're trying to assess their performance, what is your OEE or what is your downtime? And it can also be some of the functions that you see in the darker gray, things like operational intelligence, maintenance systems, and functions that sort of hover between level 3 and level 4. So what happens in this manufacturing space is something right from the beginning of the process. It starts from ideation, which is just a fancy word for R&D. What's happening to the product on the creation side. Then this moves in through to the planning process, and from the planning it goes into the manufacturing process, and then out the door where the process ends and our customers can deliver their products to their customers. So this space really deals with all these functions that I'm talking about here, and then really how to coordinate and exchange information with the broader supply chain. So in a nutshell, these are the typical functions of an MES. We also have another webinar called How to Get Started with MES that does a bit of a deeper dive into these components and where they all fit within your organization. So a modern MES solution, what is this solution? Well, Brock Solutions and Rockwell Automation have partnered up to help metals producers mitigate many of these critical issues by bringing a metals solution to the market, which is based on Brock's 30+ years of domain expertise in metals and automation, and Rockwell Automation's Factory Talk Production Center MES platform. So this is a solution that we're currently deploying in the metals industry with both global and standalone implementations. And we just want to take the next few minutes to explain to you what this looks like. So we believe that metals companies are ideally positioned right now to implement modern MES as they incorporate new equipment and more complex processes. Having said that, let's take a look at the core opportunities of a metals MES solution. So this all starts with comprehensive data mining from the top floor to the shop floor. So MES captures data from automation equipment, software applications, and business systems, and is a workhorse that transforms raw production data into actionable information. The end goal is to enhance visibility into production and to facilitate more informed decision making throughout your entire enterprise. So to be more specific, MES allows users to flag and capture issues at the source and prevent defects from getting out the door. It enables you to monitor your production trends to drive greater quality and efficiency, and it can also leverage real-time performance data to identify production bottlenecks. All this data can be viewed on dynamic reports or on mobile dashboards throughout the enterprise. So the last takeaway here is that MES offers seamless integration between the plant floor and the enterprise. So when MES completes an order, it sends comprehensive production reports back into ERP. These reports document the material consumption, process parameters, and quality checks that help our customers validate the integrity of the finished goods. As we mentioned earlier, there's an alarming number of metals workers nearing retirement, and they possess valuable operational knowledge that is at risk of leaving with them. So workforce and knowledge management deals with the growing skills gap from the attrition of skilled workers and high average age of employees. This gap threatens many of the critical functions within the organization. Legacy systems are not designed to capture this expertise, and metals companies are struggling to pass years of tribal knowledge down to the next generation. MES mitigates these risks by providing digital work instructions, testing procedures, and training material at each workstation. Workflows are specific to each station and must be executed in sequence before materials can be passed to the next operation. Each workstation has role-based authentication, which means MES can pull user credentials from training management systems and can dictate which users are authorized to perform a particular task. This reduces the likelihood of errors among newer and less experienced employees and enforces consistency throughout the entire production process. Performance management is another MES core competency that is geared towards monitoring throughput and contextualizing downtime events. It also enables metals companies to pull data from nearly any aspect of their operation, from smelting, casting, and stamping process to total throughput and downtime events. Data can be viewed in real time against production outputs or various production events. Performance management helps users to investigate production anomalies and minor machine delays to help reduce downtime. It will enable better understandings of key performance indicators such as OEE, or overall equipment effectiveness, and mean time to repair. As well, performance management allows for downtime and throughput tracking. Customers looking to metals producers to ensure that they're delivering consistent, high-quality product, especially as they adopt lighter weight and higher performance metals. A modern MES can help metals companies better manage quality in multiple ways. So things like enforceable workflows and instructions for operators can help ensure metals are properly heated, treated, and handled, and products are built to specification. Quality data from different points in the production process support quality checks and help ensure quality products, such as those that must adhere to regulatory requirements. Hold codes can be issued during work in progress to help prevent below quality metal products from moving ahead in the production and manufacturing process or leaving the facility. As well, scrap can be tracked to gain an understanding of why a product has been scrapped to fix for future production runs. Manufacturing intelligence essentially brings together business, energy, production, and logistics data by connecting to disparate sources. When we talk about this MI space, what I have here is an illustration of a typical highly connected data-enabled environment. So what manufacturing intelligence does is it contextualizes data into relevant and useful information to make it immediate and actionable to decision makers. The more integrated your MES and manufacturing intelligence systems are, the more seamlessly they monitor, enforce, and improve your manufacturing process. This allows users to analyze and optimize processes that are resulting in high levels of scrap. We're only scratching the surface here on manufacturing intelligence, so I just wanted to mention that we also offer a full-length webinar on MI that's available on the Brock website as well. As we mentioned earlier, many of the operators in metals industries are typically manually develop alloy recipes, which can be error prone and time consuming, and the information may not be centrally located or accessible to everyone. A modern MES can enable operators to manage these activities within the system, from creating and storing recipes to developing SOPs or standard operating procedures, And production processes and orders from ERP can also be synchronized with MES order management, enabling workers to to adjust or transfer work between production lines or areas to maximize throughput. And finally, metals customers are now demanding greater traceability for the metals they receive. This information gets tied into their downstream systems for optimization of production processes. A modern MES can track inventory at the lot and piece level to improve inventory management. Visibility into work in progress inventory tracks everything that happens to a product from start to finish on its journey through production. Scrap material is also tracked and recorded. Materials on hold and finished goods waiting to be shipped are recorded, all the while communicating this information back to the ERP for material resource planning. So the MES solution that we discussed and we're delivering to the market is based on Rockwell's off-the-shelf MES package called Factory Talk Production Center. So this gives you a peek at what the architecture looks like. Production Center talks seamlessly both to your plant floor PLC layer and your ERP and your ancillary systems. And also note that this is not a proprietary platform. Most of our customers, especially metals, have a mix of everything. So this platform is designed to communicate across the board. So it has all the built-in functionality that we just discussed around material management, quality and performance management, and we'd be happy to do a much deeper dive into the product itself if that's of interest to anyone. And also please note that if you want to see more about this, we will be at AIST in Nashville from May 8th to the 11th, both Brock and Rockwell, and we'll also be attending Industry Week in Cleveland those same dates. So in summary, a modern manufacturing execution system, or an MES solution, can help metals companies gain insights into their operations, get more from their assets, and be more responsive to customer needs. With a modern MES, the manufacturing process becomes information-driven to help trigger actions or execute operations, activities, rules, and more. And a modern MES also enables metals companies to move their standalone custom databases and their legacy systems into a more integrated and holistic solution that overall drives business value across the entire enterprise. So as I mentioned before, we understand that a lot of our metals customers have homegrown systems that perform some of the functions we've mentioned. However, we are implementing this solution and enabling our customers to have access to all this functionality within their organization using an out-of-the-box solution. So we'd love to hear from you. We want to understand if your MES needs and see if we can work together to help you on your MES journey. If there was something that we didn't cover here today, please feel free to contact us or go to the links below to find more information on manufacturing execution systems. And as I mentioned earlier, we have many more MES-focused webinars available for you to watch at the Brock Solutions website. And again, we will be attending AIST in Nashville and Industry Week in Cleveland, May 8th to the 11th. And once again, I want to thank you for your time today, and I hope this webinar was helpful. Thank you.